Hello everyone, this is Lolly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something I'm calling paper lace. Now, I've seen videos, people talk about paper fabric, and of course it's not paper, it's fabric that's been stiffened, sort of like paper. So this is this lace that I bought from a thrift store. I bought this whole spool, and as you can see, I've got it more stiff, and I've made these bookmarks, pocket stuffers for my Alice in Wonderland journal. So I'm going to show you how I did that. You're going to need a non-stick surface. Okay, now this is one of those Teflon mats, and I apologize for the glare there. And so you need your material, whatever lace you have, something thin. I have some cheesecloth that I want to try. That's very thin. And I have this material that actually was like a sheer curtain, and I've cut a little piece of that out. I just think that is so pretty. So all you need to do is either use Mod Podge or a PVA glue that you've diluted maybe 1:1 equal parts water and Mod Podge. And remember not to shake your Mod Podge. Just want to give it a little roll, and I've been rolling it already a little bit. If you don't have a mat like this or a Teflon mat, what you can use is like parchment paper or freezer paper. Freezer paper is better because it's got like a slick side on it. Oops, I didn't look in there and I dipped that in there too deeply. And you're just going to coat it all over. You want to saturate it in between all the fibers there. So if you can get some cheap PVA glue, or what I call school glue, and water that down, it would basically be the same thing as what I'm doing with this Mod Podge. You're going to let that stiffen up really well. If you have a specific shape in mind that you want to do, like see what I did with the bottom of these, hair everywhere. You will want, if you have a specific shape in mind, you're going to want to cut that up. I could do it now or later, either way. I'm getting this really covered. I'm going to push this forward so you can see it a little bit more. Now I left my edges really jaggedy because I think I'm going to like that look. And I hope this is going to do well here. I just found this material in my stash, forgot I had bought it. Again, this was at a thrift store, and I just thought that would be a really pretty piece to work with. Now, this is kind of like nylon netting, very fine mesh with embroidery on it and machine embroidery. And this is going to, both of these will be pretty floppy when we're all done compared to this other lace that I used, because those are that lace is a little more thick, meaning it just has more stitches per inch, in other words. If you want to shape them, like if they're kind of curved like a banana, you want to fix that shape right now. Okay. All right, we're going to let that dry. So I let these dry overnight just because I was busy, but this is the fun part. Now you have little bits of extra Mod Podge just sticking out that you can just kind of rub off. But now you have a surface that you can continue to decorate. Love it. Now I see a little bit of red right there. It may have lifted off something that I had here. I'm not sure. See, I don't need to do the back. I love these little frayed bits here. I think that is really awesome. If you don't like that, make sure you trim them off. You can trim them off now. Now this one I'm going to leave on here because I'm going to Mod Podge. While I have that down, I'm going to Mod Podge this, which is like this tissue paper. This Teflon mat did really well. There we go. Here, we'll let that dry. Okay, so this is well and dry, but I trimmed off part of it so that I could make it kind of two pieces. It was so long anyway. So what I have here, I Couple things. I have a pile of items, and these I got from Topology. And you'll notice that these are normally white, and they're too white for what I want. So I sprayed them. Look at the difference there. And I love this spray, and I use it a lot to age things. And it is the Distress Oxide Spray in Antique Linen. And that really helps to make them not so stark white when they don't really match your project. And I also have been, and I have these tickets also from Topology. I've been adding them to the pile, distressing them. I also have these two new sets from Elizabeth Craft Design. Planner Essentials 56 tickets and tabs, and the coordinating stamp set tickets. And with those, you can make anything. And I'm using some Elizabeth Craft paper. So I'm making some tickets like this, and I have this tab. And I also, I had one that didn't stamp out well, so I just used a star punch, and I started punching out some stars and adding some bling in the middle of those. So the first thing I want to do, I've torn this down. I'm going to put that there, but I think this is going to go at the top. So I think since this is already Mod Podged, I'm going to use Mod Podge to add this. And, you know, once I have a good paper base, I can start using my regular paper glue, but you know, I am doing decoupage, so it's okay to go ahead and keep using Mod Podge if I want. Because this is rough surface here, it's kind of hard to get this to adhere even with the Mod Podge. It takes a while for that to really stick down. So I'm just holding on to this. There we go. It took a minute, but it is a hot minute, but it's working. And this, it would be really hard to glue, so I'm just going to go ahead and Mod Podge right over this. Normally, I would allow the first Mod Podge layer to dry before adding this, but since I'm kind of doing my little I'm on a video and I'm hurrying technique, so the difference is when you don't allow the Mod Podge to dry thoroughly under this before putting some on top, it tends to buckle a little more. So just so you know, so it is buckling a little bit, but we're just going to roll with that. Now, if I keep playing with this, this will start tearing because it'll get all wet, and then I'll keep touching it and it'll pull up. So one thing you can do is put like something non-stick over it, like saran wrap or something to do that, to help that to stick. Okay, now I am going to let this dry before I fiddle with it again, and then we can add our other layers at that point. So that's good and set. What I want to do, whenever I use my little fabric scraps that I get from Topology, I save the scraps. So I'm going to do that. Turn this upside down. These are the glue bottles I'm using. I'll give you the video to them down below. My supplier is out at the moment, so I have a hard time getting more of these at the moment. Okay, and then I'm going to add this, which is also a scrap. What I love about this is that it's got the fine tip on it, and it's easier to squeeze. Perfect. Now, I have one of the tickets from Topology, one that I just made. I'm going to line those up right there. That'll work just fine. Okay, now I'm going to use one of these stars here. It's getting lost there. I don't like it there. There we go. We can see it better here than we could down here. Let's put that one up there, and it kind of balances. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now, the question is, do you want to put anything on the top, an eyelet, anything you want to put in the top is fine. And I actually, even though I love eyelets and everything, I love this one as it is. So let's just leave it like that. Remember this one. Now I have this lace here, but again, I thought that was too white. So I took that same spray that I showed you and I just misted this lightly, and look how it turned out. So it's a lot darker now. I know it's fabric, but they have been coated with the Mod Podge, so I'm not sure if the Fabri-Tac would adhere. Let's try that. Let's try this. I have to hold that down for a sec. That seems to be adhering. The other thing I want to do is I don't like the bottom here. Okay, so I have this. This is also part of like fabric collections from Topology. I'm going to put that up there. Not sure that I'm really fond of the way this looks here, but if I trim it, it will just continue to unravel. So let's go ahead and go with that, and then we'll put something else across the top. I like that they're just hanging there. Now I need something else. It's a nice little pink thing there. Lots of layers from Topology. I'm not really measuring. I'm just making it kind of organic looking. Now it's going to be really thick at the top here. These are so fun. They're called Dictionary Library Series. And you just flip through. There we go. Let's use Admire. And it definitely needs a little bit of toning down. Could spray it, but you know, it's fine. I think I just want to go ahead and give it a little bit of distressing on the edge. And you'll notice when I tore it out, I was not careful, and I think I'm just even going to give it a little extra tear on purpose. Let's do it that way. I think that's going to be exactly what I want. Now, we're going to do something a little different here. We're going to poke holes in the top. Now, normally I would let this dry really, really well. I want my tiny holes here. It does help to let that dry because then you get better holes. And I have some very soft pink eyelets here. I'll give you a link under this video on how to set perfect eyelets. Okay. I think that looks beautiful just as it is, but there is a method to my madness, and I'm going to add a chain here. So let me get my supplies out. What I do is I'm going to use 2 jump rings. Sometimes people ask me what size the jump rings are. I really don't know, because when I buy them, I just put them all together in one bin. Now, when I have old jewelry, I put it in here as well. So I just use the chain. Okay, I'm gonna snip this off. Now all I need to do is open this up. One end here. One end there, and seal it back up. Same thing for over here. Now you just stop until you're happy, and I think I'm happy with that. And that is so cute. All right, so we have these 2. Let's put that aside and that aside. And I still have this one here that you saw me put this on. And so we're just going to build up from there. But again, I'm not so sure I like it being so long. So what I'm going to do is snip this off. And I can use this for another piece later. Now I'm going to cut off the extra Mod Podge that's just kind of lying around. Snip those corners off at the top. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to layer with what we have left, what I've already made for tickets, and I love this. Again, these are from that die set, and I have this for a little pop of color. So I'm going to grab my Mod Podge and get a layer on here. And again, I'm going to have to hold that down quite a bit to get that to really stick at first, and then it does really well. Again, under normal circumstances, I would go ahead and let these dry really well in between, but I'm just doing this for videos. I don't think I want that, but I do think I want this. Looks like it's adhering really well. I really like the stars that I put on that. I'm going to have to do that again. I don't think I am going to use any of that. I'm going to put this sideways toward the top. Very cool. Love it, love it. Now I think what I'm going to do with this one is to put a hole. This is kind of an off-kilter design, so I like that. And let's give this a really wide eyelet. I love the wide eyelets. These are really great. I still have some of these in my shop. I'm going to use this stunning color here. I need to flip this back. Oh yeah, that is the perfect touch. Perfect. Okay, and now we also have the little pieces that I cut off earlier of both of those, that and this, that we can use for other projects. You can either layer them like this. For instance, if I hadn't put the eyelet there, I could layer it like that. Now, how gorgeous is that? Isn't that pretty? That and the original ones that I showed you. I'm going to give you some photos here. You'll see again those lace ones that I used the Mod Podge on. Very fun. There's so many possibilities. I just think this is a beautiful extra addition to our resources and our supplies in mixed media. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already.